Good afternoon. It's the last session, so it's a bit difficult to stay till the end. So please bear with us. So hopefully some colleagues are coming, some maybe already left. So whoever we are, thank you very much for coming to us. And thank you for your interest in having exchange. It's not just we talking and you listening, but there will be also the discussion that we will have at the end of the presentation that we will have. We hope that to have the live discussion. The good afternoon once again, everyone. Namaste. And we are very thankful to to ADB for giving GIZ to organize this session. That we have been doing almost 3-4 years now. So I am Narayan, Senior Energy Specialist in Nepal, and I am the speaker of the 2AWAS Energy Working Group. Okay, so today's the session, our session is called, it's the Intelligence Energy System for Inclusive, Just and Sustainable Energy Solutions. Today's session is about, the purpose of today's session is just to share exchanges, to have a bit energy transition, collaboration, innovation, and learning together. So these energy systems across the world are changing rapidly, and countries are trying to expand renewable energy, improve energy efficiency, and ensure access for everyone. At the same time, digital technologies are creating new opportunities to make energy systems smarter, faster, and more responsive. But we have challenges. And while the transition is progressing, many challenges remain yet to be properly addressed. These include financing gaps, technical limitations, data availability, and diverse access to technology and knowledge. Addressing these issues requires collaboration between governments and different stakeholders. So when we talk about intelligent energy systems, we are referring to the systems that use data, digital tools, forecasting, automation, and innovative planning and approaches. It aims to improve energy generation, distribution, and consumption using hardware and software. So now a bit about 2AWAS is the GIZ's sector network on transport, environment, energy, and water in Asia. So that's we have the region-wise network. So the main objective of this is like the regional learning across the countries, across the programs. It connects more than 80 projects across Asia Pacific. So basically we encourage regional learning, and basically today that is where we are sharing regional experience coming from Nepal, Philippines, Indonesia, Pakistan, Thailand. So with this, basically we hope to enhance, to increase collaboration and networking among us. And then now I would like to invite as the first presentation to today, Ms. Maraida Lisario, Senior Technical Advisor, GIZ. Please, the floor is yours.
Can I? It's automatic, right?
Automatic, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maraida. I'm from the Philippines, and we are supporting demand-side management. So, as early as now, please open your cellular phones and take photos of the QR codes. So, our project supports minimum energy performance standards. So, MEPS are regulations that set minimum energy efficiency requirements for energy-consuming products, and MEPS help improve energy efficiency and reduce consumption. So when you go to your appliance store, you have a lot of appliances to choose from. So how do you know what is the most efficient and what do you think you need in order to save energy? So basically, we recommend that you look into the energy label. So our project, ACT Maps, is supporting the Philippine Energy Labeling Program, or the PELP. So we're prioritizing energy efficiency policy to achieve goals in the NDC. So how do you get an energy label? First, the appliance has to undergo a cooling test. So we have to rely on international performance standards. Here, this is ISO 5151. So we measure those equipment in test chambers. Okay, so this is one of our partners in one of our support areas in the Department of Energy, Energy Research and Testing Laboratory Services. So we are capacitating both Vietnam, the Philippines, together with UNEP for Vietnam and for Malaysia and Singapore. We are harmonizing performance standards. But of course, as consumers reading these labels, can we really interpret this? So as you can see, we have to follow this standard, ISO 16358-1, and we have to measure the cooling capacities if it's accurate. So to simplify, we have to set up an energy label system. So more stars and higher rating means more savings. So to promote, please buy your ACs with 7 or higher with 5-star as well. So this is not a real AC, but this is something that is ideal. So please open your mobile phones and scan the QR code to get information on your energy efficient appliance. Have you got it? You have 20 seconds to do it. Scroll down, scroll down. So when you scroll down, you can get the information for the appliance. So it is 5-star. You can also trace the, what do you call this? The number or the number, and you can also check if it is valid. So were you able to scroll down? So if you scroll down, there is an electricity consumption calculator. So you can put the operating hours, the price. I know it's more expensive than 10 pesos per kilowatt at the moment. And then it will automatically calculate your monthly consumption based on your usage. So the refrigeration and air conditioning sector is responsible for 10% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. So most of it comes from energy consumption, while 1/3 comes from released refrigerants. So our project is promoting green cooling, where we use natural refrigerants, such as water, CO2, ammonia, hydrocarbons, and air. And we are also promoting, on the other side, energy-efficient appliances. And as much as possible, we have to source our energy from renewable sources. So as part of the Montreal Protocol, we have to avoid emissions by leapfrogging to the green cooling, which is both energy efficient and natural refrigerants with very low to zero emissions. Next, please. So as part of our support to the Department of Energy in the Philippines, we supported them in providing the global warming potential of the refrigerant, and it is demonstrated in the energy label. So if you go to the appliance store, as you can see, there is R32. Oh. So you have to check what is the global warming potential. So I am part of a global program where green cooling is accessible to all for the benefit of the people and the environment. So we have to check both energy efficiency and low global warming potential. So our program is making cooling a hot topic since 1995. So we implement integrated ozone and climate protection under the Montreal Protocol, and we are now supporting the Philippines in terms of its Kigali Amendment. So we are also supporting cooling pledges globally with a focus on natural refrigerants and energy efficiency in the refrigeration and air conditioning sector. So ProClima has been around since 1995, and as of 2026, we have almost like 600 projects implemented globally in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. So our approach is through policy advice in supporting comprehensive mitigation approaches in the cooling sector. We support technology transfer, cooperation with the private sector through production line conversion, and capacity building through training on best practices and the safe handling of natural refrigerants. So for more information, you can check the ProClima publications. So we are supporting gender roles, integrated ozone and climate protection, solar cooling, and other technologies. So we can share later all of our publications. I can share it later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maraida. Thank you very much. It was really interesting, the stories from the Philippines. Now, I would like to request Mohammad Irshad Khan to share the story from Pakistan. Mohammad, the floor is yours.
Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome to the session and a warm good afternoon to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here today at this event and to present something interesting from Pakistan. Yeah, our topic today is the compliance digital tools for energy efficiency in buildings. And why buildings in Pakistan? Maybe this will come also in the next slide. But buildings are responsible for nearly 60% of electricity consumption in Pakistan. And our population today, 250 million, urbanization rate is very high. By 2035, we will be nearly 50% in the cities, and there is huge demand for efficient buildings, and that's mainly a very challenging task. So the base load, if I would say, it's around 12,000 megawatt. In summer months, we cross about 30,000 megawatt, and you can see it about 18 to 20,000 megawatt is the cooling load of the buildings. And that's why there's a challenge. So the government set up, a new energy efficiency building code, which was approved by the government of Pakistan. And our task is, to roll out, implement those through capacity building measures, through a lot of trainings to the building control authorities, not to the Ministry of Energy, because that's still quite a challenging task. And why is this? As I explained it to you, to somehow improve the building design framework. Yeah, as a colleague said, appliances also play a role, but it's mainly the envelope and main like insulation and other factors. And also Pakistan has different climate zones, so how to adjust the building code to the different climate zones in Pakistan. Rolling out is, as I said, that's approved, but the challenging part, and that's where the GIZ role is to support the building control authorities. Also, the private sector is very important. And our rollout is not based on theoretical ideologies, but really on a business case. So it really makes sense to invest maybe 10, 20% more in a house to make your business case, and then, but it's still going on, and we are quite hopeful that this will more or less, be a success story. With this, how to develop the building code, implement it. We have some digital tools developed for this, for the building control authorities. That's what mainly we are presenting, to make it easy for the building control authorities to say whether, the building design is compliant or not compliant. Otherwise, manual calculation, it becomes too complicated to translate that into action. And with this, I will ask my colleague, she's the expert on the tool, so please.
Hello, everyone. So for the tool, you have to enter details of in your building, like details regarding lighting, regarding, the building envelope, which materials used, what the thickness is, for example, of the insulation materials. And the output that the tool gives you is a compliance report and a compliance certificate, right? And it's very interesting that it has a QR code embedded in it, which really helps with real-time verification for building control authorities. So it makes the process very seamless, and it does all the calculations for you. So the tool is very user-friendly. It has a database, especially earlier in the screenshots where you can kind of select options. They're already present in the tool. So you just have to open the database, see which options you've kind of used in your house, and just select them. And then it allows you to test different scenarios, right? So you can modify the design inputs, and you can see how the compliance changes. So it makes it very seamless, very quick. And otherwise, interpreting this very comprehensive code would be very time consuming and challenging, right? But this way, it takes 10 to 15 minutes maybe, and it's helping sort of roll out faster approvals across the country. And so far, the project has trained around 2,400 professionals. So architects, professionals from building control authorities, builders, also engineers. Now, there's another thing which is quite in demand these days. As we all know, electricity tariffs, they are very high across the globe, and especially in Pakistan. So people are really looking for ways to make their houses sort of more energy efficient. And that involves doing building load calculations, which is a lot of math, which obviously is like a bit challenging to do. So that's where this tool comes in. And it's like a comprehensive solution for assessing energy performance of your buildings. Here's the QR code, by the way. Oh, it's gone now. But later you can contact me in case you want it. But this tool, it really helps you identify energy-saving opportunities, which is great for reducing operational costs because, like I mentioned earlier, given the high electricity tariffs, lowering your energy consumption can generate substantial cost savings, which we all like. So for the inputs, the tool requires you to sort of enter, the location to determine the climatic zone, the building size and orientation, materials that you've used for your walls, for insulation, and also details of your HVAC system, and then any appliances that you're using, and also the lighting details. And as an output, it gives you a very comprehensive load profile of your building. So as you can see, it very clearly shows you that how much electricity is being consumed by the heating load in your house, how much is being consumed in the cooling load. So it really helps you identify challenging areas where you can then, kind of make informed changes. It also really visualizes the load profile, as you can see in this pie chart, which the tool generates for you. So again, you can kind of play around with it to make your building more energy efficient. So you just get to do the easy part, and the tool does all the hard part. And another very cool feature of this tool is that it shows you operational carbon emissions against your energy consumption, and it links energy performance with environmental impact, which is extremely relevant. And as you can see in this diagram, you can kind of see it for each month. And the building load calculation tool, it helps you optimize the design of your building, and the ECBC tool supports in compliance verification, and both promote energy efficiency and conservation in the building sector in Pakistan. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope this was informative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irshad and Laiba. It was really interesting. So now I would like to invite Ms. Nina Liza Escorial, Deputy Executive Director of Philippines Council for Industry, Energy and Engineering Technology Research and Development, Department of Science and Technology. Ms. Escorial, the floor is yours.
Good day, everyone. As mentioned, I am Nina Lisa Escorial from the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Industry, Energy and Emerging Technology Research and Development. And I'm honored to present Innovation Works for You, Powering Inclusive Energy Through Innovation. So let's explore how the Philippines is leveraging technology from a shared towards a shared clean energy future. So we begin with global reality. In 2024, global annual electricity consumption growth sharply accelerated to 4.3% from 2.5% a year prior. The International Energy Agency expects this high global demand to consistently grow by 25% of total energy consumption leading up to 2035. Now let's examine the Philippine baseline. Currently, the Philippines produces looking closer, go back. So, looking closer at our region, Southeast Asia is positioned at the absolute epicenter of the expansion. According to the Southeast Asia Energy Outlook, the region alone will account for over 25% of total energy demand growth leading up to 2035. Now let's examine the Philippine baseline. Currently, the Philippines produces 239 million metric tons of carbon dioxide, and while it represents only a meager of 0.5% of the world's total emissions, but we must do something about it, considering that the Philippines is vulnerable in terms of climate change, and so we have to be proactively and responsibly address this. And achieving clean energy requires understanding our starting point. As of late 2024, our energy mix relies heavily on coal, that is 42%, natural gas at 15%, and oil-based power at 11%. So, but encouragingly, renewable energy has reached 32%, serving as a strong foundation of future growth. However, to scale renewables, we must evolve pass-through power generation toward true energy intelligence by integrating AI, automated energy efficiency systems, and localized energy storage. And this is where our council come in. The DOST PSURD, we are under the Department of Science and Technology mandated to provide direction and provide funding in terms of nations' technological breakthrough. Our mandate spans from direct research funding to human resource development and technology commercialization. We prioritize critical sectors, including sustainable transportation, mining, semiconductor, manufacturing, material science, and clean energy. Ensuring the scientific progress translates directly into inclusive socioeconomic impact across the countries. However, we know that innovations require skilled personnel, so that's part of our program is really to provide not only in terms of research and development, but also capacitating our researchers from doing the basic research up to technology transfer. So we also seamlessly connect students, academics, even startups and spin-offs to turn conceptual ideas into market solutions. Through programs like the Balik Saliksik, the Balik Scientists, and the Young Innovators Program, we bring home world-class Filipino researchers from abroad, injecting international expertise directly into our localized clean energy and technology landscape. Our long-term commitment is backed by substantial financial investment. So as I have said, we are a planning and funding council. So between 2011 and 2025, we have channeled about 715 million pesos into dedicated energy research and development. This strategic investment funding is highly diversified. We systematically cover solar energy scaling, wind technologies, ocean energy systems, even microhydro project and advanced energy conservation methodologies. This ensures that the Philippines develop tailored solutions for its unique, complex archipelagic geography and varied regional needs. However, we understand that true progress demands cross-energy collaboration. That's why in 2024, we formalized the Renewable Energy Science, Technology, and Innovation Program, or the RESTI. This is a joint initiative between the Department of Energy and PSURD that blends regulatory policy with technical R&D, breaking down traditional government silos. And through this partnership with the DOE, we aim to accelerate national innovation by turning ideas into reality through a proven pipeline, from foundational research, practical demos, and market-ready deployment. The RESTI framework is built to accelerate research from laboratory benches straight to market deployment. By bridging the gaps between academe, R&D institutions, industry players, and agile tech startups, we ensure that clean energy innovations are quickly piloted, validated, and scaled in real-world environments. Now, let's look some of our breakthroughs. We are advancing sustainable aviation fuel in the Philippines by establishing a demo-scale production facility that focus on the utilization of cooking oil, because one of the things that we are looking into is really to look for different feedstocks that could provide the needed demand for the SAF. Simultaneously, we are also deploying localized home energy storage systems known as the HES, which combines smart microgrids. This storage solution stabilizes energy access for remote communities, making intermittent renewable sources highly reliable and ensuring that no Filipino household is left behind in the dark. Looking ahead, our strategic priorities focus heavily on circular energy, waste heat recovery, and advanced storage. Innovation really works when it is inclusive. So we also invite global partnerships, investors and researchers to connect with us. Let us power inclusive energy together through continuous innovation. And you can connect with us and let us continue the discussion in this topic. Thank you very much. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Madam Nina Lisa Escorial. Thank you very much for sharing very nice stories and the experience that you are having. Now, I would like to request Mr. Manav Kesi from Nepal to share the story from Nepal. He is energy advisor with GIZ. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. When we think about energy transition, we often imagine large hydropower plants or national grids. But today, I want to take you to the mountains of Nepal, where small community-owned energy systems are quietly transforming into intelligent, resilient, and digitally connected RE ecosystems. For many years, decentralized energy systems was primarily about access in Nepal. Micro hydropower supplied electricity to remote communities before the national grid arrived. Today, with 99.1% of Nepal's population having electricity access, the challenge has shifted from electrification to sustainability, utilization, and integration. So the sector is facing a critical challenge right now. Only around 60 to 70% of Nepal's micro hydropower systems remain fully functional. Many struggle with declining demand, weak revenues, and aging infrastructure after grid expansion. So what is the solution? Traditionally, micro hydropower plants operated as isolated systems. When the grid arrived, consumers shifted to any our power utilities electricity, leaving many plants with low utilization and increased financial stress. The question became, how do we prevent these community assets from becoming standard investments? Our approach was not simply to rehabilitate this infrastructure. We focused on 4 pillars. First, grid integration. Second, digitalization. Third, innovative financing. And fourth, capacity development. The objective was to create financially sustainable community energy systems rather than just temporary pilot projects. Only about 18 of Nepal's more than 1,800 microhydro systems are currently grid interconnected. In isolated operations, excess electricity is dissipated through ballast loads. Grid integration allows this surplus energy to be exported instead of just being wasted. Grid connection is not as simple as connecting wires, as we all know. These systems need synchronizing panels, digital production relays, BCBs, and such. The generator voltage, also frequency, phase angle, must also match the grid before synchronization can occur. So this is an example of Nisi Khola 2 microhydro power plant. This is one of the 2 micro hydropower plants that our project has directly supported, not indirectly, but directly supported through the Sustainable Energy Challenge Fund window for system improvement. This is a 100 kilowatt plant and serves 913 households. In Bagun district, our project has supported 3 grid-connected MSP cooperatives with this hydro management software, laptops, POS devices, software licenses, training, and maintenance support. Today, these cooperatives are moving towards digital revenue management and database operations. Grid-connected microhydro operators must also increasingly function like small utilities right now. We learned that sustainability challenges are often managerial rather than technical. Revenue management, governance systems, business planning, digital accounting are becoming as important as turbines and generators. Productive energy use, so electricity becomes sustainable when it creates economic value. We have seen productive energy applications such as agro-processing, poultry enterprises, lead cutting, e-cooking, and small businesses become major drivers of electricity demand growth in rural communities. One of the strongest lessons from Nepal is that grid interconnection alone is not enough. After sale of unused electricity to the grid, electricity sales in one case increased from 9,000 kilowatt hour to 51,000 kilowatt hour within just 3 months. That is a huge revenue for a small micro hydro power plant. Many community cooperatives cannot finance modernization independently. Through the SECF, projects such as Nishi Khola 2 receive blended financing. The model combined 50% viability gap funding, 50% and 50% equity. In other case, it was similar to that. Grid interconnection is expensive. Most of the cost is associated with the protection systems, synchronization equipment, metering and compliance requirements rather than just generation equipment itself. Without concessional financing, most rural communities would struggle to make these investments. Infrastructure investments are only part of the solution. DRIP supported both operators and MSP managers. Operators were trained on synchronization, production systems, BCP operation, electrical safety, and digital management systems. MSP managers focused on governance, business planning, and long-term sustainability. Many operators had limited prior technical training. Therefore, practical learning was prioritized over classroom theory. Site-based demonstrations, relay testing, insulation resistance measurement, and peer learning proved particularly effective, as we see in the image. Decentralized energy systems can support also the new demand streams. Nepal now has more than 1,500 EV charging stations nationally, while Sustainable Energy Challenge Fund has supported battery swapping and charging infrastructure initiatives as well. These models may create future demand opportunities for distributed renewable energy systems. Our experience suggests 5 lessons. First, technology alone is not enough. Second, productive energy use drives sustainability. Third, digitalization strengthens governance. Fourth, financing still remains a major barrier. And finally, community ownership remains essential for long-term success. The bigger vision, the objective, is not simply to interconnect a few microhydro power plants. The objective is to create a replicable model that combines distributed renewable energy, digital management systems, innovative financing, productive energy use, and community ownership at scale. The future of decentralized renewable energy in Nepal is no longer just about providing electricity. It is about transforming community energy systems into intelligent, financially sustainable, digitally enabled, and locally owned development platforms. If you can achieve that, these systems will remain long after electrification, that is already 99.1% in Nepal, has already been achieved. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. Now I would like to request to share a story from Indonesia, Mr. Christoph Loeresen. I'm not sure whether I pronounced correctly. Thank you. Thank you, Christoph. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Across Asia and around the world, solar and wind power are expanding at unprecedented speed. This picture was taken in Ninh Thuan, Vietnam, where large-scale solar and wind projects have transformed the landscape. Similar developments are happening across the regions as countries pursue clean, affordable, and secure energy systems. The reason is simple. In most markets today, solar and wind power are among the cheapest resources of new electricity generation. At the same time, the slides are not moving. At the same time, Asia's economies continue to grow and require massive investments in new power infrastructure. Renewable energy is increasingly becoming the preferred option. Unlike conventional power plants, solar and wind power plant output depends on weather conditions. A passing cloud can reduce solar generation rapidly. This variability creates uncertainty for system operators and is often perceived as a threat to reliability, particularly in systems with growing renewable energy penetration. Fortunately, variability behaves differently at system level. As more renewable energy plants are connected across larger geographic areas, fluctuations smoothen out significantly. What appears highly variable at a single site becomes much more predictable across a grid, a province, or a country. Variable renewable energy forecasting is the key that transforms weather-dependent generation into actionable information for power system operators. Forecasting helps to answer a simple but critical question: how much solar and wind power will be available and when? Forecasting converts data into decisions. Weather observations and plant information enter forecasting models. The resulting forecasts are used by operators to schedule conventional generation and other resources needed to balance the system. Every forecast starts with data: numerical weather models, satellite imagery, sky cameras, weather stations, and power plant data all contribute information. High-quality data input is often the single most important prerequisite for accurate renewable energy forecasting. A forecasting system should not be treated as a black box. To generate long-term capacity, utilities and meteorological agencies need to understand how forecasts are produced, what assumptions are used, and how forecast quality can be continuously improved. The real value of forecasting is realized in power system operations. Forecasts allow operators to schedule conventional generation more efficiently, reduce reserve requirements, minimize curtailment, and integrate higher shares of renewable energy while maintaining reliability. Different operational decisions require different forecasting horizons. Day-ahead forecasts support scheduling and market decisions. Satellite-based intraday forecasts improve operational planning, and sky camera-based forecasts provide minute-level information that helps manage rapidly changing solar conditions. GIZ has supported renewable energy forecasting in several countries, including India and Indonesia. Knowledge transfer between countries is essential because many challenges are shared. Lessons learned in one power system can often improve and accelerate progress in another. India's rapid growth of renewable energy made forecasting indispensable. The country has installed around 150 gigawatts of solar and more than 50 gigawatts of wind. In some regions, renewable generation can supply nearly all instantaneous electricity demand, requiring sophisticated operational tools. GIZ supported the development of scientific forecasting approaches in India together with national institutions. Weather stations, forecasting centers, and system operators became part of a coordinated effort to develop local expertise and establish operational renewable energy capabilities. Successful forecasting requires much more than just technology. In India, meteorological agencies, research institutions, grid operators, regulators, and government organizations all contribute. This ecosystem approach helped transform forecasting from a pilot activity into an operational capability. Indonesia is now entering a similar phase. Ambitious renewable energy targets, including the plans for up to 100 gigawatt solar, require new operational approaches. Forecasting will become an increasingly important component of the future power system. GIZ has helped establish partnerships between PLN, BMKG, international experts, and other stakeholders. These collaborations combine expertise from metrology and power systems, while simultaneously building local capacity through workshops, training programs, and operational engagement. The goal is not simply to develop a forecasting model. The goal is operational use. Forecasts must be integrated into dispatch centers and future control room concepts, so that they can directly support system operators in day-to-day decision-making. Indonesia's forecasting ecosystem brings together utilities, meteorological agencies, regulators, research institutions, and international partners. GIZ acts as ecosystem enabler, facilitating cooperation, technology transfer, capacity development, and exchanges with leading forecasting institutions in India and Germany. A healthy rainforest depends on countless interactions between different species. Renewable energy forecasting works in much the same way. Success depends on data providers, meteorologists, regulators, utilities, researchers, and operators working together as part of a connected ecosystem. The future of renewable energy is not only about more solar and wind power. It is also about building intelligent energy systems that can anticipate variability and transform data into decisions. Forecasting is one important building block of that future. Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph. Now I would like to request to share the story from Thailand, but not only Thailand, but that story will cover that region. Max Heil from Thailand, Regional Project Coordinator, GIZ. Max, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Narayan, and good afternoon, colleagues. It's my pleasure to be here today and speak at the Asia Clean Energy Forum 2026. I'm going to talk about our knowledge platform called CPET, Southeast Asia Information Platform for the Energy Transition, and how it actually can accelerate a just and smart energy transition across the region. Okay, I'm too fast already. So I speak on behalf of CASE. It's the project funded by the German government via the International Climate Initiative, and it stands for Clean, Affordable and Secure Energy for Southeast Asia. This is really a regional project supporting inclusive, evidence-based energy transitions in Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand and Vietnam. And we work together in a consortium with many partners from Germany, Agora Energiewende and New Climate Institute, and also with local partners here in the Philippines, the Institute for Climate and Sustainable Cities, and also in Indonesia with the Institute for Essential Services Reforms, and in Thailand with the Energy Research Institute and the Thai Development Research Institute. This is really important because they all have been part and also developing and contributing to the platform which I'm going to present to you today. In CASE, our mission really is to support carbon neutrality while maintaining energy security and affordability. And we try to achieve that via 5 areas. One is research and evidence. One is on dialogue actually with non-energy stakeholders. One is on technical assistance, and the others are on mapping and also on public discourse. So today I will focus on the last part, on the mapping part. And in 2022, we did some market research in the region, and we found that there is actually an information gap in terms of energy data. There's not one place or one platform where you can go and access data on the energy transition. So our approach really was to basically then create this open access platform to strengthen the energy transition in the region via the platform and provide that transparency and capacity also on regional coordination. It connects basically data, policy, and people across the region, which helps also as an entry point for people who are not too familiar with the energy transition. So CPET's goal is not just to inform, but also to empower decision makers and practitioners. So when we look at the structure of the platform, you can see there are three distinct parts. One is really the knowledge hub, where we have a repository of publications and other information on the energy transition. We have the project mapping, where we can see who's doing what. And we also have the power sector resources. When we look at the project mapping, we can see that you can actually access the website, you can filter the projects, you can find out who's implementing which project, from which development partners doing that, how much funding are they providing to the project. So it's really interactive. So you can actually also identify synergies and also kickstart new collaborations or find funding. Up to date, we have 518 projects listed on a database, which represent roughly $52 billion in funding. And this is across the 4 major Southeast Asian economies, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines. So when we look at the data, we did some data crunching here, and we can see that the projects listed on our platform, most of them are actually in Vietnam and Indonesia, so the JETP countries. And we also see that most of the topics which it covers are actually broadly on renewables or energy and policy and planning. When we look when does the project start, how much funding is provided, we can really see that there's a peak in 2023, and now it's actually declining since then. I mean, we all know that the development landscape is changing, so this is actually mapping that quite well. When we look at the power sector resources, these are our data tools. So we have the Power Transition Progress Tool, which is really trying to monitor the energy transition within the region, looking at 69 indicators, looking at institutions, how easy is it to enter the market, what are supply chain constraints, and what is the stakeholder engagement on the energy transition. And then we have the Power Sector Data Browser, really providing information on generation, on capacity. We have the Power Sector Snapshot, trying to contextualize this data, also providing information on the market structures and on pricing mechanism. Our newest addition is the Power Policy Tracker. This really gives a bird's eye view on renewable energy targets in the region, EV, two-wheeler, four-wheeler targets, as well as on grid development plans. Then, as I said in the beginning, we also have our Knowledge Hub, and that's where we try to gather all the publications which are relevant on the energy transition in the region. So you will find many key publications there, also from our networks. So I also have a QR code, so please scan the QR code, connect with us, sign up to our monthly newsletter. This is really a tool where we want to also gather your information. So the whole platform is actually community-based, and we really rely also on information you are providing. So we really want you to become an active member and support our platform. Let me maybe close with a key message saying that the future of the energy transition is not only clean and connected, but it's also digital. And by making information accessible and transparent, CPET really aims to support smarter decisions and stronger regional cooperation. Thank you so much.
Max. Now I would like to invite Miss Anissa Sadanur. I find difficulties in pronouncing the family name. Sorry for that. So to share the story from Indonesia.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Indonesia never sleeps. So from Jakarta to Surabaya, our light stays on and whoa, okay, no, go back, no. Our light stays on and our phone stay charged and our air conditioner works overtime. It feels like our electricity bills become part of our personality. Hello, my name is Anissa. I'm from JZ Indonesia, and I would like to talk about how digital transformation can support the energy transition. As our economy and industry grow, so does our energy appetite. More activities and products that require electricity from our household to large-scale enterprises. The challenge is not only producing its energy, but also producing its sustainability. Indonesia has enormous renewable energy potential, but much of it remains untapped. For instance, in urban area, millions of rooftops are receiving sunlight every single day, yet many still function only as a heat collectors, knowing it has a potential to produce energy. Indonesia currently has a strong ambition. With the new government, they targeted 100 gigawatts of solar capacity. Well, the vision exists, the commitment exists, but the implementation remains challenging. But the good news is the solution does not always require building a new massive infrastructure. Because one of the opportunity already exists on top of our homes, schools, offices, and public buildings. Rooftop solar PV becomes especially promising and because it is practical and more accessible, not only for large-scale industries, but also for local communities and everyday energy users, such as. But we do have one major gap. Like Mark's already said, it's an information gap. We know that solar energy is important, but many building owners do not know whether their rooftops are suitable, how much electricity they can generate, or whether their investment is financially viable. What we need to start is a rooftop assessment. Simple enough, but can you imagine you scale it one by one on a million of building? By the time you finish, the sun may already retire. Okay, this is where digital transformation becomes essential. Oh, okay. It helps us to transform raw information into actionable decisions. Instead of asking whether solar is possible, we can quickly estimate where, how much, and how impactful it can be. Technology is no longer about collecting data. From machine learning and artificial intelligence and satellite imagery or geospatial analytics allows us to analyze energy potential at a complete different scale. This is where SERI comes in. SERI stands for Solar Energy Estimator for Rooftop in Indonesia, a platform designed to estimate rooftop solar potential quickly and efficiently across Indonesia. SERI combines satellite imagery, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to detect rooftop objects and calculate solar PV potential automatically. The process is rather straightforward. First, the satellite and aerial imagery are collected as data resources. Then, the system will detect the rooftop automatically. After that, it will be calculated using a predefined formulas. And finally, while it will generate the reports for the users. SERI assessment initially focuses on Java, Madura, and Bali region, one of Indonesia's most intensive region, energy-intensive region. The assessment focuses on buildings with roof size more than 250 meters square, and 2.6 million buildings were detected in this assessment. SERI evaluates rooftop potential using two scenarios. The first assumes full rooftop utilization, of course, and then the second considers real-world constraints, such as rooftop obstacles and structural limitation. In Indonesia, there's a lot of peculiar rooftop looking like. And the results from the assessment are significant. Under the optimistic scenario, rooftop potential reaches over 151 gigawatt peak, with estimated annual carbon dioxide avoidance of 284 million tons per year. SERI does not only estimate energy generation, it also supports economic and environmental analysis, including return on investment, electricity cost estimation, and carbon reduction impact. SERI helps transform renewable energy planning from reactive to data-driven. It allows policymakers, businesses, and local communities to make faster and smarter decisions for energy transition. Again, the future of renewable energy is not only about building new massive infrastructure. We don't reinventing the new wheels. It is about combining policy, technology, collaboration, and innovation to unlock opportunities that already exist on top of our heads. Well, in this case, rooftop, literally. So my last slide will be through innovation and digital transformation, we can accelerate Indonesia's renewable energy potential and journey in a smarter, faster, and inclusive way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anisha. Now, I would like to request Mr. Rojan Kumar Shrestha to share stories from Nepal. So he is project coordinator with Practical Action Nepal. Rojan, floor is yours.
Thank you, Narayan sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So firstly, thanks to GIZ and ADB team for this wonderful opportunity. So today I'll be sharing briefly on this industrial decarbonization project that we're implementing in Nepal under the UNIDO's A2D facility support. So just to set a brief country context, I'd like to share that Nepal is the fourth most vulnerable to climate change globally. It's 11th most prone to earthquake, and in terms of air pollution, it's sevenfold above the WHO's recommended list. And the major challenge that industries and the energy sector are facing in Nepal is the unreliable grid supply. So also frequent voltage fluctuation and power outages, and due to which they are locked in the diesel-based backup, which is a major cause of GHG emission in Nepal. And now, just like to highlight the start of the journey, how it was initiated, based on UNIDO's Accelerate to Demonstrate facility under the Smart Grid thematic area, Smart Energy thematic area. GRIPS 2 was awarded for establishment as a demonstration project in Nepal. And the partnership modality was, this fund has been funded through UNIDO's Accelerate to Demonstrate facility managed by UNIDO with support from UK government, and it is implemented by Practical Action with its technical consortium partners Ghampower and Swanbarden in close collaboration with Government of Nepal. And just to give a brief overview on the technology outlook, so we are implementing a 924 kilowatt solar PV system in Lakshmi semi-steel industries, so, integrated with a smart energy management system with AI intelligence. And for the backup, 2 megawatt, 4 megawatt hour battery energy storage system has been integrated. So as you may see in the picture, the solar PV of nearly 1 megawatt has already been commissioned, and it's displacing diesel generator in this factory. And the BSS installation is well underway, and we expect to complete this project within the next 4 months. So I will not go much into the technology detail, just to share why this particular project is different from the rest. So besides the technology, so the projects are interlocked in 3 key pillars. One is definitely the advanced technology, and second, the inclusive and safeguard measures has been strongly embedded throughout all the course of action of the project. And just to share, this inclusive and safeguard as the major tool for de-risking the project sustainability and forming an enabling environment for capitalizing the additional investment for scalability. So just a brief outlook on the framework. So we have adopted a twin track approach, which basically prioritizes targeted empowerment activities to our industry partners, zone of influence, and then leading to systemic transformation. And also on the intersectionality, we prioritize the most vulnerable and disadvantaged groups are incorporated through this overall solution. So our project currently is in the JC sensitive phase as per the UNIDO's JC framework, and we are working our best effort for transforming this industry, heavy industry, to JC empowering category. And for the ESS part, basically the project is currently under category B. So it's moderate risk project under the UNIDO's framework. So we have developed a comprehensive environment and social management plan based on which the project's safeguard activities are implemented at the field level. So just to share the brief, our guiding document for the project implementation under UNIDO's framework, JC and ESS framework. So I think that you guys can have a look in this document. It can be very helpful during the project implementation to make it just as possible during the implementation. Further to that, during the implementation phase, also through a dynamic dashboard, we are closely watching all the data and figures and changing our decision to see if the industrial transition is just or not in terms of inclusivity and safeguard. So necessary changes are done timely during the tracking through this dynamic dashboard. And for the scalability, what we're doing now is we're demonstrating this lighthouse demonstration project in a steel industry. So in the next coming 2 years, we plan to commercialize into other industries in Nepal, and at the end, we aim to it to be private sector led. So we have forged different partnerships for scaling this project, for creating an enabling environment in Nepal. Government, with definitely number one is Government of Nepal, and with other international development organization and local stakeholders. And what key development or success we have achieved in this interim period is we have secured additional 4.5 million USD funding to scale similar intervention in other heavy industries. And we, through our dissemination activities, sensitization, other industries have also embodied a different solar PV system for displacing diesel generator. So in summary, we have forged more than 6+ strategic partnership for scaling the project. With our solar PV in line, we are displaced 500 tons of CO2 in 2025. And just to share a brief glance of our activities at the ground level, especially prioritizing women inclusion and safeguard, we have a local level JC and ESS advisory committee who are closely working with us to shape this project and make it as just as possible for this industrial transition journey. And please do have a look in our LinkedIn page to get regular updates on what we are doing in the project. And please free to connect later. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosen. Thank you very much. So the last session, last hour, maybe all are very much tired now. So I would not like to make you, to force you to stay much longer. Now I would like to all the presenters to come to the dais, and now we have Q&A, and all you have already WhatsApp, so you can ask your questions through WhatsApp. Also, you can also raise your hand, and then you can ask directly questions to the speakers. So. Okay, so how are you feeling? Last session. So I think now I'm not sure. I have some questions, so but I would like to give priority to the preferences, priority to the audience. Would anyone would like to ask questions? So please introduce yourself, go to the mic, and then ask question to whom you would like to give that questions, who would like to respond to your questions. So please.
Hi, I'm Oktof from Indonesia. For GIZ Pakistan, I would like to know what is the uptake of this tool, because it seems to require quite a lot of inputs that maybe as a homeowner I wouldn't know, like the thickness of my wall, the specifications of my HVAC system. I wouldn't know this, so I'm just wondering how that would work. And for GIZ Indonesia, with the tool to detect the rooftops, how reliable is it? Like in detecting the rooftops, can it detect all kinds of rooftops, like the tile rooftops, metal rooftops, concrete rooftops? And have you actually checked the accuracy of this tool? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Maybe one by one. It's easier not to forget. So please, who'd like to, Irshad or Laiba, would like?
Hello. Yeah, it's a very good question. Of course, the digital tool, we try to make it as simple as possible, but of course, there are minimum technical data that without that, the tool is not capable of, giving some calculation. So the practical side of it, that we wanted to make it easy primarily for architects, engineers, and also those with some basic technical knowledge, they can use the tool. But of course, some technical data is necessary, as an input to the software application. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one more thing that I'd like to add. You mentioned HVAC, right? So it sounds a little complicated, but in reality, it's very simple. So for example, if you have air conditioners, all the tool requires you to sort of enter is like the number of, let's say, ACs you have, what their power rating is, and that's usually mentioned on the packaging when you buy one. So it's also data which is like quite easily available. As for like walls, there are building codes. Usually walls are around 9 inches in Pakistan. Again, it's sort of very easily available data. And you can obviously search it up and find it easily. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. More questions, please, from the floor? Yeah, okay.
Hello, thank you, Mas Okto, for answering the question. For the question. Okay, sorry. So to clarify, Siri is detecting the area of the rooftop, but not the rooftop. So the area of, is it correct? Right? Yeah. So it's the area, whether it's metal or genteng biasa, it can detect it, but it's the area of the building or the house instead of the bahan. What is bahan? The materials.
In terms of the accuracy, we have done like samples, yeah? And if you zoom in to a certain region of a city or so, it's impressively precise how it detects the rooftops. And then, but for a total assessment of the whole of Java,
of course, the rooftops also carry other equipment, especially commercial buildings. Usually there is a lot of stuff on top, like HVAC equipment, cooling towers, and so on. So that's why ANISA worked with like a ratio. So 151 gigawatt would be all roofs above 250 square meters. But we think it's more realistic to calculate with something like 50% of that, which then is 75 gigawatt as a rooftop potential ballpark number. So that's one application, and the other application is really to go to your house and check your roof. But there are many tools that can do that. There are many tools online on developers' websites, but the powerful thing here is that you can run it over an entire country or an entire area. That's a real innovation ANISA and her team pulled off.
Okay, next question. Yeah, please.
Hi, everyone. Hakim from Malaysia. Just want to build on the questions about Siri. Two things. The first one is, I'm imagining Google Solar, right? Can I put in my own address and kind of get a response? I'm thinking the answer is yes, based on the last bit. So that brings me to the second question. How much does it cost to run one of these simulations, run one of these assessments on a country level? So let's say I want to do it in Malaysia, for instance. Use this.
For the cost, maybe you would like to answer?
Not so familiar with the costs, but the tool is developed. And first we applied it for a certain area of Bali that was with the planning ministry. They wanted to pilot it, and then with the energy ministry we applied it for whole of Java, and that was just a small additional cost because the tool was already developed. So the initial development phase is what's a little bit costly. But then now it's out there, and what GIZ does should be also available for public use. So I think to apply it for Malaysia does not imply very big costs. So happy to explore.
Okay, the lady, please.
Yeah, thank you all for the really interesting presentations on your project. I'd have a question to GIZ Philippines. So I'm based in Brussels in a consultancy. I work for a consultancy there. So our main client is the European Commission. We soon hope to start a project with them where we are trying to help them build consumer comprehension when it comes to energy bills, when it comes to energy labels, because even in Europe, people don't understand what it says on their bills. So I'm wondering what you're doing for that within the Philippines, because it's one thing to develop the labels, but when I opened the website, I also didn't understand what I was seeing. So are you doing anything also on the consumer side to help them comprehend their labels?
Yeah, actually, for the past 3 years, our focus has been on the testing capacity that the labels provide accurate measurements. But it is our Department of Energy, Energy Utilization and Management Board who does have a promotions unit. So they do have promotion activities as part of their market surveillance. So they inform the point of sales in the appliance stores. So there is a mandatory inspection first that the energy label must be there on site. So it's already a violation if an appliance, an air conditioner doesn't have a label. But what we are doing right now, actually we just had the top up for the project. So we're doing our best to develop a consumer app. So it is just a website and a database of our Philippine Energy Labeling Program. So we call it the PELP. But we are in the process of hopefully getting more information from the consumers through our market surveys and stakeholder consultations, because we also want to know how. Actually, if you go into the what I shared earlier, it's very technical. Actually, that's what's needed in the Pakistan tool in order to generate the energy savings. So we are still in the early stages. So we really need a market survey and a consumer perception survey to know how much they know in using that energy label.
Okay, thank you. As our audience base is shrinking and shrinking, now I have my own questions to the speakers. So now I would like to give each speaker just around, we have just 12 minutes left. So maybe 1 minute, just what is the major lessons, one thing that you learn, and what is the key message that you would like to give to us, to the audience? Just one by one. Who would like to start? One message, that one lesson and one message.
One lesson and one message. Lesson, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And message, do collaborate and innovate, because and create a very efficient and effective system.
Good, thank you.
For us, it's looking at the bigger picture. It's not just the power supply or the energy planning, but we also have to look into the contributions of us, consumers. We get our bills. So I think we also have to put more information to consumers that we can do more for climate action.
Thank you.
Yeah, so one lesson learned is that a lot of the times to sort of implement technical solutions, you really have to simplify them for the general public. So that's very important. You turn them into a form which is like sort of easier for them to, also implement. And a key message would be that energy management, energy efficiency, it's sort of a non-negotiable in this day and age. Like, it's a very simple solution and it gives you very real results. I mean, we talk about other solutions, but they're sort of more complicated, but this is very easy. So it gives you immediate results if you implement it. So
thank you.
Thank you. Just one message from my side, that demand side management is should be integral part of energy planning. So remember that a kilowatt hour saved will always be cheaper than a kilowatt hour produced, no matter in which form, from which technology. So this is my key message, that think of, demand side management. Thank you.
For me, my key takeaway is that in my presentation a while ago, I showed you the priorities that we would like to go on. And a while ago, I mentioned that we also need something on the rooftop. And my learning is that several of us, or most of us, are also already doing the things that we in this region should be doing. So the message is really for us to collaborate so that we don't duplicate things that we are doing, and maybe adapt what is the best practices in its country or in its region. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the key takeaway from our ongoing project is onboarding all the stakeholders, especially government, banking and financing institution, along with private sector and local communities, should be initiated from the early design phase. So that was the major challenge for us as well, and that's one of the reasons why our project implementation was slightly delayed, because we invested more time in the design phase, such that during the implementation or course of action, we will have a robust system in place for implementation. Thank you.
My key message that we learned as a project and doing the grid interconnection is that the decentralized renewable energy system should not be viewed only as access to electricity, but since the grid interconnection has already come, although it is particularly not an old concept for Nepal, it should be also viewed as a tool for economic productivity. The rural communities that we worked in, they had like for a 100 kilowatt micro hydropower plant, they had only sold about 30 kilowatt, like they were running at 30 kilowatt, but now since the grid interconnection has come, they are selling their electricity to the grid. But it should not only be viewed as a tool to electricity should not be viewed as a tool to just to sell to NE, but also to open more businesses, more industries, and such. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I think one lesson we had, and I think, which is really relevant to this discussion, is not only about collecting more data, but actually making it accessible to also people who maybe not are literate and do not understand what this actually means and how it influences their everyday life. So really like humanizing the energy transition and bring it close to the people to also get the political support, but also to get people for the future workforce of the energy transition. I think that that's one of the also the key things we see in our everyday project implementation.
Yeah, the lesson we learned is that we need to bring everyone on board for such an endeavor to build an operational forecasting system. It's not enough if it's just a utility and a commercial forecasting provider, and a commercial forecasting provider sends a forecast to the utility. The utility usually is busy and doesn't use it, and the pilot is over after some time, then that's about it. We had this experience in other countries as well. It needs an ecosystem and need to bring all the stakeholders on board to really anchor the capacity locally. And the message is building a digital tool may be easy, like we already heard from the colleague in Nepal, and you can present it then and it's nice, but to make it operational, to really anchor it and make it operational, it needs an extra mile. And maybe that's the main work and not building the tool.
Okay, thank you. We have a few minutes left. So I think in order to make justice to the speaker also, you can also ask questions to other speakers because you didn't have the chance. The audience had the chance. If yes, yeah, with mic, please.
My question to the colleagues, Maraida from Philippines. So if I walk into a appliances store, will I see, this label on each air conditioner? And as of today, in the Robinson Mall, I will go. And it's amazing, because if it's really working, it's amazing work. Thank you.
Maybe for my colleagues in Pakistan, maybe our information is needed for your tool, and we would also need your tool to further enhance our system.
That is collaboration. Yeah. So any more? A few questions, so maybe just 4 minutes left. Maybe the last questions anyone would like to ask from the floor, if any. So otherwise we may have some few minutes bonus, so that maybe you also appreciate that. So finally, I would like to thank all the speakers, distinguished speakers. We could get really very interesting and important, useful the lessons from different countries, cross sectors, the digital, non-digital, hardware, software. That is what we aimed to achieve in this session. Hopefully we got that. And also the audience, that's really, you are amazing. So you staying till the end of this session. Sorry that long day. So there's maybe still too many things to be done. Still 2 more days left. No, 1 more day. So just 2 more days, including the return back. So I think anyway, thank you very much. We are very grateful to ADB again to provide us this opportunity to have all of us, us together, to share our experiences, lessons, so that we could learn from each other. So mutual learning and mutually benefiting from each other. So thank you once again. Thank you once again. Then hopefully we'll see next year in the similar or a bit different forum, different format. Thank you very much.